Preface of Birds of the Air. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Birds of the Air by Arabella Buckley. Preface. These books are intended to interest children in country life. They are written in the simplest language, so as to be fit for each class to read aloud. But the information given in them requires explanation and illustration by the teacher. I have, in fact, tried to make each lesson the groundwork for oral teaching, in the course of which the children should be encouraged to observe, to bring in specimens, and to ask questions. Then, when the question is read and reread, as is the case with most school books, it will become part of the child's own knowledge. No one can be more aware than I am how very slight these outlines are, and how much more might have been given if space permitted. But I hope that much is suggested, and a teacher who loves nature will fill in the gaps. The charming illustrations will enable the children to identify the animals and plants mentioned. Arabella Buckley, Mrs. Fisher. End of preface. Chapter 1 of Birds of the Air by Arabella Buckley. Recorded for LibriVox.org. Chapter 1 Birds We Know. I wonder how many birds you know by sight, and what you could tell about their nests and their lives. There are between 300 and 400 different British birds, and very few people know them all. But in any one place there are not more common birds than you could learn in a year. You can look for the rare ones afterwards. The best way to begin is to write down those you are sure about, and say how you recognize them. You cannot mistake a robin, with his red breast, his plump little body, and his brown wings. The mother robin's breast is not quite so red, and the young have no red at all. But when you have seen them with their cock robin, you will soon know them by their shape. But a chaffinch has a red breast. How can you tell him from a robin? His breast is much browner than the robin's, and even at a distance you may know him by the white bands on his dark wings, and the yellow tips to some of his feathers. Then his body is longer, and he moves more gracefully than the robin, while his loud "pink, pink," if you go near his nest, will tell you at once what he is. The lark you know by his slender brown body and white speckled throat, and by the way he soars as he sings his sweet song. The common green woodpecker is easily known by his bright colors, his curious feet, and his stiff tail, which he uses to jerk himself up a tree. And though a nuthatch also goes up a tree by jumps, you would never take him for a woodpecker, for he is no bigger than a sparrow, and he has a short tail and blue-gray wings and a dingy red breast. Then you know the cooing wood-pigeon, the chattering magpie, the soaring hawk and his hooked beak, and the downy owl, and I dare say you could tell me of many more. The birds you know best will most of them be with us all the year round, but not all. The swifts fly away to the south in August, and the swallows and the martins follow in October. When they are gone, the fieldfares come from the north, and feed in the flocks on the worms in the damp fields, and on the holly berries when the ground is hard with frost. The swallow and the house martin are so alike that as they come and go together, you might not know them apart, unless you remember that a swallow has a blue-black collar across his breast, and that the fork of his tail is longer than that of the martin. You may be busy all the year round watching the birds, seeing when they come and go, what food they eat, how they fly, whether they sing in the morning or evening, and where they build their nests. Many farmers and gardeners shoot little birds because they eat their corn and peas and fruit. But a large number of birds feed chiefly on insects. You ought to know which these are, for they are very useful in clearing away earwigs and caterpillars, as well as slugs and snails. If you look out early some morning and see a thrush tapping a snail shell against a stone to get at the snail, you will say he is a good gardener. You will not grudge him a little fruit in the summer.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?